Chapter 11, 86, Ice Soul Immortal Gu. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Even though He Lulan obtained a lot of resources and her greatest weakness was alleviated, her gains in Dalmark were very little. Making an estimation, it was less than 30% of the Immortal Aperture's Dalmarks. She skipped more than 10 calamities and tribulations directly. This was an immeasurable loss to He Lulan. Because of her having one of the 10 extreme physiques, every time she underwent tribulation, it would be extremely strong. Fortune and disaster came together. Whenever she succeeded in passing the tribulation, the Tao marks that she gained would be much greater in number. More than 10 calamities and tribulations, it was not just earthly calamities, but a heavenly tribulation as well. Considering this, her losses were huge. Even though undergoing tribulation was a dangerous thing, for a bold and fierce character like He Lulan, she was not afraid of difficulties. She was only afraid of being ordinary. Even if I am unwilling, what can I do? I am stuck deep in the abyss. It is not up to me. He Lulan sighed internally. Ying Wuxi observed her appearance. Seeing He Lulan's gloomy expression, he smiled internally as he said, "All right, let's continue traveling." The group passed the icy tunnel, getting even deeper into the mountain. Eventually, they arrived in front of a wall of ice. Through the white wall of ice, the immortals could see countless hearts inside. These hearts were blue. There were about at least 1,000 of them. Bai Ningbing did not know of them. But Tai Bai Yunsheng screamed, "Oh heavens, these are ice hearts. They are all ice hearts." He Lulan's expression also changed. Not just ice hearts, there are twin ice hearts. The latter is a rank 7 immortal material, and in such quantity. Even the normally quiet Shinu gasped. Unimaginable. Jade Pot Mountain actually has such an abundance of wealth. If Southern Borders Gu Immortals knew about this, a storm would be whipped up. In order to fight for these ice hearts, they would fight until rivers of blood flowed. Jade Pot Mountain was not uninhabited. There was a village on the mountain with the surname Yu. Jade Pot Mountain produced jade stones and jade goo. Yu Clan Village relied on these resources for survival. Among mortal forces, Yu Clan Village, which had many rank 5 Gu masters, was very powerful. But to Gu Immortals, they were not worth mentioning. Who could have thought that Jade Pot Mountain, controlled by a mortal force, could have such a quantity of rare immortal material stacked together? Ying Wuxi sighed deeply. Jade Pot Mountain is nothing special on the surface. It is easy to ignore. Even my shadow sect also found this place due to a fortuitous encounter, but the ice hearts formed naturally here are not so high in quantity. My shadow sect's Gu Immortals had secretly set up a Gu formation to turn this place into a Gu breeding ground. In the past, this place had nurtured ice heart Gu, but they had been taken away. There is still one ice heart immortal Gu here. It was not ready earlier, but now it has completely formed. Bai Ningbing, come here and retrieve this wild immortal Gu using the method I taught you. All right, Bai Ningbing said without hesitation. She took large steps ahead. Next, using Ying Wuxi's instructions, she stretched out both hands and placed them on the wall of ice, which was covered in frost energy. Without using any defensive methods, Bai Ningbing's hands were completely frozen. Frost energy assaulted her as a thick layer of frost formed on her arms. He Lulan saw this and raised her eyebrows. Tai Bai Yunsheng wanted to speak. He had an expression of pity. Ying Wuxi smiled lightly. Shi Nu was expressionless, not saying a word. Bai Ningbing endured the intense pain as frost energy traveled through her body from her arms. Soon she felt her body turning stiff. Even her mind was becoming frozen. The intense threat of death assaulted her in both body and mind. But she was unmoved. Inside her clear blue eyes, a firm, determined gaze could be seen. She was even more stubborn and cold than this ice wall. Endure it. Even if I die, it is nothing much. Dying from frost like this. It is interesting too, isn't it? Furthermore, Shadow Sect suffered a huge blow. They need manpower. Ying Wu Shi tried so hard to recruit me. How could he let me die like this? As expected, a change occurred in front of Bai Ningbing. Inside the wall of ice, the blue ice hearts were shaking together. The vibrations were small initially, but got more intense with time. More than 10 breaths of time later, the wall of ice made a loud sound. Cracks were forming before the immortal's eyes. Soon they were covering the wall of ice like a spider web. One of the cracks went deep into the interior of the wall. The aura of Immortal Gu leaked out. Tai Bai Yunsheng almost wanted to help out. This was a wild Immortal Gu. It was very hard to catch. If they did not take action now, it would be too late. But Ying Wuxi was unmoved. He watched silently. Since he kept motionless, He Lulan and Shi Nu also did not act. Bai Ningbing could not move. She was completely frozen. Frost energy had permeated her entire body. She was close to death. But this person who was dying greatly attracted that wild Immortal Gu, which had broken out of the ice. This wild Immortal Gu flew over slowly, entering Bai Ningbing's hold. In the Immortal's vision, this Immortal Gu was about the size of a baby's fist, resembling a spider with a white body and 8 claws, as well as a back with blue flowery markings that showed the appearance of a vengeful ghost screaming. Rank 6, Ice Soul Immortal Gu. Bai Ningbing focused her mind, opening her phantom aperture's entrance. Ice Soul Immortal Gu directly flew in. When the phantom aperture's entrance closed, Ying Wuxi immediately acted, healing Bai Ningbing's injuries, dragging her back from the edge of death. Good! Ice Soul Immortal Gu is already in your aperture. It has nowhere to escape. Refining it will be extremely easy. Ying Wuxi clapped and smiled. He Lulan's gaze shined. She suddenly spoke. I understand this Ice Soul Immortal Gu has a close connection to Bai Ningbing, because Bai Ningbing has the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. Indeed, the aura of the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique has an intense attraction to Ice Soul Immortal Gu. Thus, I asked Bai Ningbing to capture it without using any defensive methods. It was to completely release the aura of the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique without any concealment. Ying Wuxi nodded, explaining, Tirt, but if Bai Ningbing's vitality was too high, the wild Ice Soul Immortal Gu would hesitate. Thus, only when Bai Ningbing was on the verge of death would Ice Soul Immortal Gu feel that she was no threat and go towards her automatically. So that's it, Tai Bai Yunsheng realized. Lord Fang Yuan is so wise, the loyal Shinu also said. Ha ha ha. Ying Wuxi raised his head and laughed. My shadow sect is huge and has many resources. Being with me will give you all great benefits. Like this wall of ice, my shadow sect had spent 1,000 years mimicking a natural environment, creating this Gu refinement ground. The cultivation methods that my shadow sect has are unimaginable to all of you. If your aptitude is low, we will raise it. If you have few Dao marks, we will increase them. Everything is possible. He Lulan's heart shook. Ying Wuxi's final words were clearly directed at her. This fellow, he has learned how to be a true leader. He is really improving rapidly. Before He Lulan could continue thinking, Ying Wuxi waved his hand. We're leaving. Next, we will take over Baixiang Grotto Heaven, Northern Plains. I skipped too few calamities and tribulations. Fang Yuan sighed. He was not happy about this. At almost the same time as He Lulan, who was unhappy over her major losses, wanting to skip as few calamities and tribulations as possible. Fang Yuan sighed. The number of calamities and tribulations skipped did not match his expectations. If possible, he wanted to be a rank 7 Gu Immortal at the very next moment. The endless number of battles in Heifan Grotto Heaven made Fang Yuan realize his biggest flaw. His cultivation level was too low. His green grape immortal essence was not efficient. As Fang Yuan's identity got more complex, the dangers he faced also became greater. In the past, Fang Yuan could control the future well, because he was alone. Now that he had many alliance agreements, he could not help himself. And with the trip to Eastern Sea, he did not manage to exterminate Shadow Sect. The growth of Ying Wuxi and the rest made Fang Yuan feel immense pressure. Thus, he would rather sacrifice his future potential and raise his battle strength rapidly. Without the present, how can there be a future? Potential is good, but to have room for development, one needs to spend time. The true attitude for cultivation is to be practical. Everything is for the sake of our present reality. Fang Yuan's losses were even more severe than He Lulan's, but he did not feel any pity or loss. He had a resolute and determined gaze. But Han Dong had already gone through 2 heavenly tribulations and more than 20 earthly calamities. I annexed his immortal aperture, but I only progressed by 4 earthly calamities. Is this because the sovereign immortal aperture is too big? The effect of skipping calamities and tribulations from annexing immortal apertures is not very evident? Fang Yuan thought about it from all angles. He felt that the sovereign immortal aperture was the cause. Rank 6. Gu immortals face an earthly calamity every 10 years, and a heavenly tribulation every 100 years. After 300 years, after 3 heavenly tribulations, they would become rank 7. During this process, if it was split into 3, Fang Yuan was nearly 1/3 done. This is not fast enough. I need to hit rank 7 as soon as possible. It would give me a huge boost in battle strength in terms of sustainability. Financially, I will also grow rapidly. If only Han Dong blessed land is not enough, I will have to annex more immortal apertures. Even though the gains in Dao marks cannot compare to undergoing tribulation myself, I can save a lot of time. I can deal with challenges and dangers from all aspects more easily now. Furthermore, when annexing blessed lands, I get all of their Dao marks without any losses. Even though it is still a loss, I just need to kill some Gu immortals to make up for it. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan had a ruthless light flashing in his eyes. After uncovering another advantage of the sovereign immortal aperture, Fang Yuan discovered a new way to cultivate. His original method was to go with the natural flow, undergoing tribulations and obtaining a great number of Dao marks in true meaning. But this method was too slow. His battle strength rose slowly. What grew the most was his immortal aperture's foundation. It was not suited for Fang Yuan. It would only make his situation more dangerous. Currently, Fang Yuan was going to use the method of annexing immortal apertures and skipping calamities and tribulations to rapidly raise his cultivation level. When his cultivation level rises, his battle strength would also rise. Fang Yuan would use his new battle strength to kill more enemies and annex their apertures. To avoid undergoing tribulation himself, it could also allow his immortal aperture's foundation to grow, and he would gain Dao marks as well. This method allowed Fang Yuan's battle strength to grow at the fastest speed, but his immortal aperture's foundation would increase more slowly. But it was suited for Fang Yuan's situation. It allowed him to have a better chance at survival. Both cultivation methods could create a cycle of benefits for him. They just had their own advantages and strengths.